But wait, there's more.
All right, that was Tesla doing a little showing off of its new, I think it's almost $61,000 Cybertruck. What made that kind of funny is it, in a speed race, it beat a Porsche. And what was kind of funny in the end is, this is worth a sense of humor here, that Cybertruck was actually hauling a Porsche and still beat it. But the thing, at least to me, it's so ugly. And I had a lot of young people on my staff who immediately said, "No, Neil, this is very cool looking. I would get it in a minute," something like that. I think they were looking for me to help them out with that, but that's not going to happen. Anyway, Mike Caudill is here, auto expert extraordinaire out of Nashville. You know, Mike, I'm looking at this, and maybe I'm showing my age. It looks ugly to me. I'm sure it's great. I understand it's bulletproof. Given some of the emails I get, that could come in handy. But I'm wondering, like, what do you make of it?
Well, Neil, thanks for having me on. And let me just start with this. Your younger staff, they're nuts. It is ugly. It is the ugliest vehicle I think I have ever laid eyes on. It actually goes all the way back to the Pontiac Aztek as one of the most ugly cars ever to hit the market. Now, the story...
You're dating yourself, young man.
Yeah, and this... That's exactly. And the story with Elon, you know, it's always hype, right? This Tesla Cybertruck came out in 2019. It's taken them 4 years to bring it to market. It was originally $40,000. They bumped it in 4 years, almost up another $20,000. But that's just the starting price, right, at $60,000. There's a $100,000 version with that 845 horsepower and a 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds with 10,000 foot-pounds of torque. And yeah, it can out-tow a Ford F-250, and it is faster than a 911, but frankly, who needs to be the first one to the red light, right? Like, I just look at it as all hype when it comes to Elon with this Cybertruck. Bulletproof? Yeah, I need bulletproof to get down to Kroger to pick up my groceries. Like, I just think it's always hype with him, and I'd like to see it come to market. I just think the design is really going to push people away from it.
Well, you know, I'm glad I went out on a limb there talking about that. But one thing I wondered too, Mike, is whether the bloom is off the rose for a lot of these vehicles. That you know, a lot of the big automakers are scaling back their production plans because they say the demand isn't there. I think GM was first and foremost with that. It's not to say that they don't have a future, but it might not be as near a future as some thought. Where are you on this and where this whole technology is going?
Yeah, Neil, so if you really look at it like this, Ford Motor Company has pumped the brakes on its electric technology as far as where they're at with battery right now. Everyone is pulling back, and it's because it's all about demand, right? You can build the cars, and I'll be honest with you, I've test driven just about every electric vehicle on the market. They have far surpassed my expectations of what an electric vehicle can be. But at the end of the day, it's all about demand. Do people want to buy electric vehicles? And the answer is we're still sitting at about 7% take rate on people buying electric vehicles, and right now the market is just not ready for it. And then add in the infrastructure, which I've said from day one is horrible. The infrastructure for electric vehicles is almost non-existent in rural parts of America. But I digress. The cars are a lot of fun to drive, but again, it's always going to be based on the business acumen behind it. Do people want to pay money to buy those? When frankly, a lot of gas-based vehicles in the market right now are getting great MPG. You're seeing vehicles on the market that are relatively affordable. So when you add it all in, do you want to pay a high price point for a vehicle that has range? And you're seeing certain vehicles like the new Ram that was introduced at the LA Auto Show, their new pickup truck. That thing's going to get 690 miles of range because it has a gas generator on board. So if automakers can bring both technologies together, we might see that be a little bit more prevalent in the future. But right now, everybody's kind of doing a pause and wait and see what happens when it comes to electric vehicles.
Yeah, and in the interim, to your astute point, Mike, I mean, these hybrid vehicles might be the perfect sweet spot in the middle. But we'll see what happens. Good seeing you again. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.